What's going on, everybody? A little caveat before we get started. I live in the Tenderloin of San Francisco, which is a pretty social area, pretty busy. And you will probably hear some sirens or some horn honking or some people, my neighbors, yelling outside. If you do, I apologize for that. And those are the sounds of the natural habitats of outside the Tenderloin in San Francisco, California. Okay, the theme for today is coffee, and I'm going to give you a few of the reasons why I don't partake in the whole coffee drinking ritual or pastime. And I think I can call it a ritual or a pastime because it isn't just a beverage, as we all know. It's what people do when they meet up. It's something they do when they stroll to the park. It's something they do every morning they wake up. Maybe they do it every evening when they wind down. But it is something that is a global phenomenon, and it is definitely a ritual or a pastime. And there's probably a bunch of other things people do with coffee that I don't even know about. But before we go into this, I just want to say I know I'm probably missing out on this delicious, creamy, smooth, warming, nippy, soft, yet rough, deliciously exuberant beverage. But I'm okay with that.
You okay?
Nah, man. I'm pretty fucking far from okay.
Little side note, I actually got those words from a coffee flavor wheel that I found online. 175 words describing different flavors of coffee. Go ahead and Google it or Bing it or whatever you do, but check it out. It's pretty funny and fairly interesting. Anyways, I understand I'm definitely missing out on something, but there are a few reasons why I don't drink coffee, and I'm going to go over those with you today. And those reasons revolve around a few key concepts that are really important to me. One of them being my overall health, the second being taking care of my future self, and the third being just overall productivity, which is actually contrary to why many people drink coffee in the first place. Let me explain. The first reason is because coffee has caffeine. And I know there is decaf coffee, I completely understand that, but let's be real, people don't typically get into coffee through decaf coffee. It's typically used as a stimulant. I know there's probably one person that's watching right now saying, oh, I drink only decaf coffee, and that's awesome. Tell me all about how you got into decaf and why you only drink decaf. I'd love to hear your story. Leave it in the comment below. I am sincerely interested. Oh, those are the sirens. I hope that person is okay. Now, why don't I like caffeine? So really, for most people, caffeine or coffee is a stimulant, and I understand why. It makes sense why people drink it. Getting up in the morning is really, really challenging. Or getting through a long day at the office can be just grueling. Or a long day taking care of children. It makes sense. But here's the downside to the caffeine boost. Caffeine affects how well you sleep. You see, caffeine has a half-life of 4 to 6 hours, meaning half of it still remains in your body after 4 to 6 hours. And frankly, I don't know how long the other half takes to be completely eliminated from your body, but I don't want to risk it. And that's if you only have 1 cup of coffee per day. If you have multiple cups of coffee throughout the day, that effect can be compounding. And why does sleep matter so much to me? I probably don't have to explain this to you, but sleep is where everything happens. Sleep is where your mind puts together all that you've absorbed throughout the day. Sleep is where your body heals itself from illness, from any injuries. And sleep is where we dream. Sleep is where we become creative, where a bunch of new ideas pop into our head that we can implement for the following day. Sleep is like the glue that brings everything together. Without sleep, thoughts, ideas, concepts seem to just float around. We need sleep to bring those ideas together. So I just can't risk disrupting my sleep for anything. So the benefits of sleep far outweigh the benefits of that caffeine or coffee in the morning. Welcome to my bathroom. The second reason, and I think that people that interact with me on a daily basis at work or just in the public should really appreciate this, but the second reason is because it makes my breath smell. I don't know about you, but there's always that person in my office or the boss wanders over, micromanaging, leaning on you, watching everything you're doing, just telling you what to do all the time. And his breath just smells like burnt wood or charcoal or something.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? Did you see the memo about this?
Forgot, but it's not shipping out till tomorrow.
Yeah. That would be great. And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo.
I don't want that. And if you have any tips or tricks to cover up that smell, then leave them in the comments. Let me know. I am sincerely interested. The third reason, and this is financial, and I know it sounds silly. Please don't write me off just yet. I know coffee's not that expensive and probably worth it to many of you. In San Francisco, coffee costs between $3 and $4. And if you want to get one of those elaborate lattes or fancy coffees, it can cost even up to $5 or $6, which is not a massive amount of money, but it can be. So let me explain. Money has potential, and it should be considered as such when you are going to spend it. If you save $4 a day, meaning you don't have a cup of coffee for just the day, and you put it into a compound interest savings account, you get a 7% return. By the time you retire, let's say you retire in 35 years, your $4 return into $46.02. So in essence, one cup of coffee you don't drink today will buy you almost 2 weeks of coffee for your future self. And if your future self or my future self doesn't want a cup of coffee in the future, you have $46.02 to buy your future self whatever your future self desires. Okay, that's just one cup of coffee in your entire life. Let's take this example a little bit further just to prove my point. So I'm going to pull up my computer and we're going to pull up a compound interest calculator and take a look at some other numbers. So we'll pull up any compound interest calculator that you find online. They're mostly the same. It doesn't really matter. It's pretty easy to find. Just type in compound interest calculator. Right here we have one. It asks us what our base amount is. Let's say $4 because we skipped one coffee. We get a 7% annual return interest rate on that savings account. And our calculation period is 35 years because we expect to retire around then. The compound interval is monthly. And then right here, we put in $4 a month. So let's say we don't drink a coffee once per month. Let's go ahead and calculate that. Drum roll. You will have saved $7,292.27 by the time you retire, which is a little bit of money. Let's go ahead and take this example even farther just to prove my point, and this is why I really don't drink coffee. So let's say we had $4 for 30 days, meaning I don't drink coffee at all. We would have saved $120 that month. Let's put $120 in as our base amount. Our regular monthly deposit now is $120 because we don't drink coffee at all. And let's go ahead and calculate how much money we will have earned by the time we retire. That total is $218,768.03. That is almost $250,000 by the time you retire by just changing the habit of drinking coffee. Understand what the potential of money is, so when you purchase something today, how it will affect your future purchasing power. Made some really tasty bacon. Really good bacon from the farmer's market. You definitely have to try it. I'm actually gonna do a video on the Market Guard Ranch, the meat ranch that brings their awesome grass-fed beef to the farmer's market, which is this awesome grass-fed bacon. So I'll tell you all about that later, but right now, I have my new mic on. I want to go test it out outside. So let me tell you the fifth reason why I don't drink coffee as we go for a little bit stroll. It is San Francisco after all. We are outside on the beautiful streets of the Tenderloin. All right, the fifth reason that I don't drink coffee. Oh shit, I mean the fourth reason. The fourth reason, excuse me, that I don't drink coffee has to do with the fact that caffeine has a bit of a, oh look, a coffee shop. How ironic. Now serving coffee, espresso, Turkish coffee. That sounds pretty tasty actually. Okay, the fourth reason I don't drink coffee has to do with the fact that caffeine has an addictive property to it.
Man, I got these cheeseburgers, man!
And simply put, I just don't want to be dependent on anything. I'm an independent person. I want to be completely in control of what I'm doing as much as possible. Welcome to San Francisco. And that's just one of the reasons why I don't like to be dependent on that stimulant. Kind of a cool building, but that's where I got my passport renewed so that I can do tons of traveling. Oh yeah.
I've been running with lightning feet. Nah, 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 nah. Hear that thunderbolt following me. Nah, 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 nah.
So the fifth reason that I don't drink coffee is kind of a silly one, so it doesn't really count. But it's basically that I'm just not familiar with coffee. I don't know which one to order. I'm not familiar with which coffee places are better than others. And it's just, to be honest, it's sort of intimidating to me. It's like going into a fancy bar or something that's super hip with all these cool hipsters and people and not knowing what to do. I feel just a bit out of place. And I know that's a silly reason, but it is just the honest truth. I'm just not familiar with it. So maybe when I get down and I am familiar with it, it'll kind of start to make sense and maybe be something new. I'm stopping here because this is ironic that I am in front of a Phil's Coffee. So maybe we should go inside and just take a peek. I don't know, see what it's about. That's pretty clear. All right, coming up here, we're gonna grab something from the front, a coffee or maybe a pastry. Let's see how this goes. Let's take a peek. Talk to these people. It says first time at Phil's. Welcome. Up there, it's hard to see. Choose a size and ask a barista for a recommendation. So let's do that. Good. How are you doing? I'm not a big coffee drinker. I don't know anything about coffee, to be totally honest. But is there a certain type that? Gotcha. Cool. Let's do that. I love it. Oh shit, that was a little bit easier than I thought it would be. We got that going for us. I'm just vlogging about my first Phil's experience. I'm not a big coffee drinker. Should I tell you what I got? Shit, I just almost grabbed someone else's coffee. This one mine?
Yeah.
Awesome, thanks, I appreciate it. That was it. Alright, I just bought a coffee and for my first time, so it's not what I was expecting to do, but it happened, and now I don't know what to do with this because I am not a coffee drinker. This guy right here. Would you like coffee? Yeah, no problem. Cheers. Let's go back to the house. Alright, so I originally recorded the end of this video when I came back from that coffee trip, but then I lost that clip, so I'm re-recording it. This is a little bit later. You can notice my beard is shaved, my hair is a little bit longer, and I kind of rearranged my room. But that aside, getting that coffee was pretty awesome. I gotta admit, having the baklava was the treat. But just being out there, talking to people about different coffees and seeing what's going on was pretty cool. And if you think maybe you'll kind of try not having coffee for a day or a month or whatever it is, let me know how it goes. For whatever reason, let me know in the comments what you've done and why. I would love to know, and I'd love to reply back to you. Tap the like button if you like this video, and please press subscribe if you want to see more in the future. So please do. Love to talk to you. I'm glad you're here. Talk to you soon.